ZLD's Time Ball Games from Bellingham, Mass. And with your help, we can reach 2,500 subscribers. As a thank you, I'll be giving out a custom leather playmat to one lucky subscriber when we get there. So be sure to like and subscribe. We are jumping right in here with a turn 1 Delver of Secrets for Robert on Blue-Red Delver. Nick on Bug Delver has a Ponder off of his Tropical Island. Blue-Red Delver, the most consistent of the Delver variants, often favored in the other Delver matchups. A Wasteland taking out this Tropical Island. And we don't have life totals on screen. I'm going to see if I can keep along here. I believe Nick's going to be at 16. Brainstorm for Robert. And Delvers squaring off. Blue-Red Delver has plenty of ways of clearing opposing Delvers. Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, potentially Forked Bolt, and can make double duty out of all of those with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. A very dangerous card in any type of control matchup. If you can keep the board clear, that guy will absolutely bury your opponent. Preordain here for Robert. Finds Wasteland an interesting potential card to interact with Nick's mana base, and now he's going to Ponder. Let's Ponder less exciting. Keeps with a couple of Force of Wills in hand, has a Wasteland of his own. And now Fatal Push targeting this Delver of Secrets. Robert's going to Force of Will. That gets dazed. And his Delver is out of there. Wastelands takes out the Volcanic Island. And Nick is now left with just a Delver of Secrets on board. Ponder sees nothing worth keeping. Basic Mountain, not what you need when you're facing down a Delver here, especially not when you have other mana sources in hand. And he's going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt this Delver of Secrets. It is out of there. And Nick has 0 permanents on board for the time being, but quickly follows up with a Underground Sea and a Delver of Secrets. The Underground is Wastelanded, but Fatal Push arrives off the top of the deck, flipping the Delver, and Robert is down to 16. Chain Lightning takes out this Delver, and again, Nick has 0 permanents in play. Misty Rainforest. And Gurmag Angler shows up trying to make great use of this graveyard, but Robert's got the daze for it, stopping the 5/5 from arriving. That would have been a absolutely pivotal moment in the game. A 5/5, very difficult for Blue-Red Delver to handle. Instead, daze prevents him from ever showing up. Robert draw go here. Both players 15 life. Who's going to get a threat on board and make it stick? True Name Nemesis showing up here. Nick down to 12. A 4th land now, Fiery Islet being played. And then Stifle on this fetch land. This must be during Robert's turn, as he is using Force of Negation to protect. Untap draw, yes. Tarmogoyf, but I don't believe that's going to be able to win the race here. Nick down to 8 life. Robert drops to 11. Or maybe not. It looks like it's actually lower than that according to their totals. I may have missed something. Another Tarmogoyf. And that gets dazed again. Daze proving to be an absolutely back-breaking card in this match. I believe one more swing for Goyf or for a true name, but actually Lightning Bolt's going to close that window even faster, and Robert goes up a game in an absolute slugfest. We saw Daze countering key spells repeatedly. Nick left with 0 permanents on board multiple times as his land was wastelanded and his only threat killed by a Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning. Blue-Red Delver proving to be very formidable in this Delver of Secrets quasi-mirror match. Which mana base and which spells and creatures will prove to be the most powerful? We will soon see in games 2 and maybe 3. All right, Nick going to be leading out, and he's got that turn 1 Delver. Robert fetching off of Flooded Strand, grabbing a basic island. Saw Wasteland do a ton of work last game. He may decide to keep his mana base completely out of reach of Wasteland, and Delver is able to do that. Hymn to Torok, a super powerful card coming off the top. 16 life for Robert as he gets hit for 3. And now Nick's going to fire off this Hymn to Torok before the shields go back up. We see Spell Pierce in Robert's hand, but you're playing Delver. You got to commit it to the board on that first turn. Holding it back is often just as bad as any terrible things that might happen on your opponent's turn. We get Spell Pierce does get taken along with a Ponder. However, Delver of Secrets flips, and just like that, Pyroblast could potentially answer Nick's Delver. A basic mountain. Clears this opposing Delver of Secrets, and for now, Robert has the better board position, but Nick has shown resiliency with his deck this whole time. Tarmogoyf this time with 1 open in case Robert does happen to have a Daze. Robert considering his options. He's going to brainstorm. Seeing 3 lands. He's going to get stuck with one of these in hand. His brainstorm doesn't feel fantastic unless he was actually going to be willing to Force of Will. Now he's drawing an extra land. If he was able to wait on that, he would have been able to brainstorm and then fetch, getting rid of the 2 cards. Instead, he uses a Wasteland, and he's going to draw through this glut of mana. Don't believe this is a race that Robert can win from here unless he's got a bunch of burn in his hand. Seven all. Fatal Push clears this insect off the board, and Robert crosses his arms, resigning himself, it would appear, to be playing a 3rd game. He draws a card, shuffles his hand around, brainstorms, hope still glimmering. A couple of Chain Lightnings, and I think he's going to be a point short of lethal. Chain Lightning at Nick. Nick forces going to 6. Pyroblast. Oh, no. Could have just... Well, he probably wouldn't have Force of Willed it if it was just targeting his face. That's a really interesting situation. This Goyf has been cleared thanks to the Chain Lightnings. They could have been player removal. I believe Nick was at 7. Another Goyf shows up, and now we're on to game number 3. Really interesting situation there. So I'm actually not sure exactly what the life totals were. I was trying to keep track over here. I believe Nick was actually at 7. So that first chain lightning towards his face, if Nick had actually force of willed going to 6, if Pyroblast counters the force, then he goes down to 3, and the second chain lightning is actually lethal. It's possible that we could have seen a absolute come from behind victory, though that would have required Nick to actually use the force, and I don't know if he would have done it if it was just going towards his face. Probably not, if I'm being honest. I mean, it may have been the only way for Robert to actually win that game in hindsight, but in reality, he was able to clear the Goyf, give himself a chance to draw back into the game, albeit at a very steep price, losing the 2 chain lightnings to clear it, especially when your opponent is so close to death. Game 3 here. Robert going to be on the play. He's going to have to shuffle some more. We're going to go ahead and skip that. All right, saved a little bit of time. This is fast effect after all. Double speed Magic the Gathering. Tropical Island into a Delver. Nick showing some consistency here with his deck. Robert a couple of fetch lands. Going to sacrifice one of them, going to 19. Ton of burn left over in Blue-Red Delver post-board. This is not a matchup where you're going to be cutting lightning bolts and chain lightnings. There's plenty of good targets. He also has Pyroblast. And it's going to be a lightning bolt clearing out that Delver. Underground Sea into a Ponder. And another Ponder. Force of will unmistakable. That splash of red on a blue background, so iconic. Beautiful study in contrast, and also in Magic cards being art beyond just the art on the cards, just the way the whole thing comes together. Christopher Rush's Brainstorm also very distinct from a distance. We've got a Dreadhorde Arcanist, and now this Wasteland takes out the Underground Sea. Nick's going to need an answer to this pretty quick, or the Dreadhorde Arcanist is going to start to really pull this back in Robert's direction. A 4/5 Goyf, quite large here. And Robert may have to wait. Ooh, nice. Chain Lightning. This sets up a very interesting situation. Chain Lightning, trigger, second Chain Lightning. This one gets forced. Now, if this goes through, this Goyf's going to be able to devour this Dreadhorde Arcanist. He'll still have 1 point of toughness left. Ooh. Oh, and a Lightning Bolt finishes the job. I'm totally confused by that. I feel like he could have Lightning Bolted before blocks. Let me know what I missed there. Ponder. I'm definitely going to rewatch that. He may have just felt like he got. That'll happen sometimes when something unexpected happens on the battlefield. Occasionally players will get flustered and miss a line that they wouldn't otherwise miss. Sylvan Library sticking here for Nick. And Brazen Borrower is going to delay that Sylvan Library, make it a little bit less of a value, having to invest 4 mana instead of just the 2. Robert, during the end step, going to be able to fetch and get this Brazen Borrower into play. Untap, draw, send in for 3, and finally we've got some damage going on Nick's side of the board. So far, I believe it's just been Force of Will. He's got a decision to make here with Sylvan. If you're bringing it in, or perhaps it's a main deck copy left over, are you willing to pay the life to get the extra cards? They can often swing the game in your favor, and no, he's only going to keep the one. Brainstorm to get those cards back. Life total, a very precious resource when you're playing against blue-red Delver. But cards are too. If the Yawgmoth's Bargain taught us anything, is that cards are more important than life. You don't want to go too far with that saying, but certainly while you're at the table. Fatal Push, taking out this Brazen Borrower, thanks to the fetch land going to the graveyard. Delver of Secrets coming down for Robert, looking to establish a clock every turn. The Sylvan Library going to pay dividends now in card selection and potentially in card quality. And there we see, I believe he kept an extra card there. This Plague Engineer coming down. Going to cause some big problems for Delver. Wizards, pretty good thing to name. Delver of Secrets going to the bin. And Sylvan Library is just continuing to do work. Another threat joins here as a Delver of Secrets comes in. Veil of Summer revealed. And Robert actually going to take that time to Pyroblast the Delver. Though Veil wouldn't actually protect from Pyroblast anyways. Goyf adds to the clock here as Nick is starting to pull away with this one. Wasteland setting Robert back a turn. That's actually just going to get stifled. I believe Robert now down to 6, facing down 6 damage, 1 turn. The answer does not come, and Nick moves on to the finals of this ELD Legacy Open. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.